Motion to offer the position of part-time, oh, excuse me, I'm in the wrong one. Motion to offer the position of wastewater technician to Mr. Jordan Long as recommended by the city administrator.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded for Jordan Long to be the wastewater technician. Any discussion?
So he'll start January 1, or?
January 1, I'm going to give you all of your pre-employment information. This offer they're going to make you is going to be contingent on a background check. And I've already spoken to all your references. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be able to start January 1. I'm going to work with the contractor, Jim Nelson, and get you over to the wastewater plant and get you to get your hands all ready to work with the poop station.
Any other discussion? Is the first a holiday or not? Will it be the second?
I suppose, yeah.
Second.
Yeah. Take the first off.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Welcome, Jordan.
Thank you.
Welcome.
52 wing janitor.
Yep, Miss Rebecca Carl, she was in the position for a long time. Everybody was very satisfied with her position. She was exemplary. She displayed passion and skill, and I think she's the ideal candidate. She also has the availability of hours, which was something that it's like a trend with everybody who's hiring today, you know, for part-time positions. She has the availability of hours, so that makes her the top candidate in this case.
I'll motion to offer the position of part-time janitor and the 52-wing facility, or at the 52-wing facility, to Mrs. Rebecca Carl as recommended by the city administrator.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded for Rebecca Carl for the 52 wing. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Yeah, no, so the 52-wing facility has an infant room that has a grading issue, and there's cold air that comes in and sometimes water and stuff. Renee, the director there, she may be able to get a grant, and so she needs a way to collect those contractors to do that work, and I put together a procurement package for her to do that. So I just wanted you guys to know. Okay.
Appleton Area Health Board appointment.
Yep. You guys already did all the Appleton Health stuff. The next thing is a city attorney office space. I don't see it.
I'll motion to provide the city attorney, Mrs. Danielle Olson, with office space in the Civic Center for use during procession of Appleton specific legal matters and for processing of county legal matters whose parties are Appleton residents or whose proximity to Appleton makes it more efficient for the city attorney in her capacity as county attorney to perform legal services.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded for Danielle, our city attorney, to have office space. Any discussion?
I sent an email to all of you earlier
Yep.
about the use of the space, that we have multiple.
Would you, because we're recording everything, and Cindy, you have a beautiful speaking voice anyway, so come up here, don't be shy.
Anyway, I sent an email to all of you earlier. I have concerns about the access to the meeting room. If you were able to read my email, we have multiple entities that already are using that room. Would this be exclusivity is what I'm wondering? Would we still have access to that room if we do allow it only for one entity to use it? I went and I looked at the calendar. We have multiple groups that use that room. And I sent that email saying human services. We have a couple programs that are in there. Will that affect it?
Judges Chamber.
Because already, as you know with my presentation, we have incredible amounts of programs that we offer. This could affect us from not being able to have some programs. So I'd really like you to think about this as maybe another option or another location. I'm concerned.
It's my understanding it's not exclusivity. It's,
It'll be a scheduling thing.
I mean, it would be scheduling,
Was
but
scheduled, like
Correct.
this chamber room is?
Right,
But could we be bumped out?
that's something that will be evaluated on a case case-by-case basis. The same way we made those decisions for other county entities that also use that room, we would have to do the same in this case.
Because not only do we use it, so do other entities in this building.
If I may, I'll give you an example of what I'd use it for. So right now, as you're aware, I'm the prosecutor for both city and county, and a lot of the victims and the children that I meet with, right now, they're having to come to Benson. And so it's very problematic because a lot of your residents don't have driver's licenses, and so I'm not able to prepare properly for my cases because I cannot get them to come to me. And so the space should be available to the public just as it is for your private meetings. It should be allowing me to prepare for a criminal case where I have a juvenile victim. It's much easier for me to get them to come to here, where it's a neutral setting, versus I have parents that become very upset if I'm hauling them up to court. And so again, I'm not looking to create any conflicts. I'm fully aware the county uses a space every Tuesday.
I'm
from
not
1
talking
until
county,
3.
I'm talking the public library of the city of Appleton. That is a totally different entity. I am not a part of the county. I'm talking about our public library for our programming. And I'm talking about the use of the RDC, all these other entities that use that room. There is no privacy. If I have someone in the public library, they could hear what you are going to be talking about in that judge's chamber. And that's another concern to think about. I get your point. I'm just wanting to make sure that you understand my point too, because there is no privacy there. I have a public library. I could have people that could be listening in on your entire conversation. It is a concern. That's why I just need to make sure that you are aware of that too. And I hope that it does not cause any conflict, because we have some wonderful things that we're able to do for the community at the public library, and I really don't want to cancel any of them. And I am really concerned about it, because you guys have been very supportive of the library, and that's what I'm concerned about.
Would it be a problem if that is booked, and you can say, well, is this open? Willie, can you take a 2-hour lunch?
I'll take a 2-hour lunch.
I mean,
Right now.
I don't see the issue here, because we're talking about what Danielle mentioned. I don't see the problem of figuring it out somewhere in this building where we can do that.
There you go.
If that is taken, is this room available? Close that door. If this is taken, Willie, can you
Take a 2-hour lunch?
peace out for a while?
Yes, absolutely.
It's the exclusive, the
It's not- but it's
exclusive
not
rights,
exclusive.
exclusive use.
But it's not.
And that's what
If
I
you
need to
need one
know.
of these 2 rooms, she can use Willie's office.
Yep.
We'll just make
And
that.
and that's fine with me. If you look at the motion language, we didn't mention the chambers. So that's, a little premature.
That's what was in the agenda notes. And
That's
it's
just one of
something
our
to,
rooms.
it's something to consider and be careful with. As long as we all use the master calendar, we should be able to make it work, but it's already booked. It is tight to get in. There are times that we have to really juggle, and we work with each other to try to make that work. So think about that. Space is a real issue.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Cindy. So you heard Andrew. I can take a 2-hour lunch. It's just all I'm saying.
Well, I'm good for it. I mean, it's the right thing to do. If you got people that need to meet with Danielle, and if they have to drive, we should find a spot for them. And I mean, like I said, if they need Willie's office, they could.
Yeah, we need to make space.
It's a matter of scheduling, and
Yep.
I'm sure Danielle, I'm sure you'll be respectful of that. And,
Certainly.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll wait a minute while it's made.
We're getting there. The Wilkening House.
So my first question on this is, why would we want it?
For economic development purposes, we want to make sure that we have the opportunity to beautify this city. And we also have our EDA, who is willing to put half towards the cost of demolishing the property so that we can use it in the future for some other purpose. So that's a pretty good incentive to move forward with that part.
It is right on the highway. With great
Well,
exposure.
and that was the EDA's point, when, I mean, the few meetings that I've been at, is that's what they wanted to spend their money with, was doing the main strip through Appleton to start with, to try to get it to look better. And I mean, they were willing to move forward with spending half the money to take it down just to get it, and, I mean, then we can get rid of the old stand that's there and the furniture along the highway and the stuff tied to the light pole and that kind of thing.
I don't like the precedent this sets that, if a house you owns just falls apart, the city will take it, and the EDA and the city will pay for it.
Well, I could see where that can be a concern, but you know how these people are different than the other programs that are in the demolishing program, for example? They've paid all their taxes up.
True.
They don't owe any money, so I wouldn't say that this sets a precedent, necessarily, because these are responsible people who just can't manage it. And they're saying, before we get to a place where we can't handle it any further, let's offer it to the city where they may be able to do something with it. So I'm not sure we're setting that precedent, respectfully.
And we can look at this as a case by case. And not set of precedents, but just a case by case.
And since we do have county visitors present, I just want to reiterate this. This will likely not fall into the demolition project because they are not behind on their taxes. These people are actually very responsible, and they're preemptively communicating with us about, hey, can we please do something because we can't maintain it, basically.
I commend them for coming forward to the city and giving us an opportunity.
Well, yeah, they could have just walked away from it and left it stand there for, what has it got to be,
And just
7
keep paying
years, isn't
taxes
or
on it
something?
as it falls down, I mean.
So. Anybody other thoughts?
Motion to accept ownership of the property as conveyed by a quitclaim deed to the city of Appleton by Mr. and Mrs. Kevin R. Wilkening and Ann K. Wilkening.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion?
EDA, you're helping us demolish it. Just, you know.
Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. McCarty property.
Mr. Donald McCarty is in a situation where he has to divest himself of some property in order to qualify for residence in a nursing home. And his representative, Sharon, I have not yet made direct contact with her, but through the county's communication, has been conveyed to us that he would like to divulge himself of that property, divest himself of that property, and so we're presenting that here to you today. And I would like the authority to communicate with the commissioners to ask them to waive $309.09 of taxes so that we can purchase the property from them for taxes. And the EDA has also agreed to help us with this. They even voted on it, so resolution and everything, so.
A motion to have the city administrator verify the owner's position and to request for the Swift County Board of Commissioners to waive taxes due to the county from the property owner.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded on the McCarty property. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
A motion to have the city administrator negotiate with property owner or legal representative for the purchase of the property and the amount of taxes or fees that are due.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded for the McCarty property to purchase it for taxes. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Minnesota Public Facilities Authorities has sent us a lovely letter. And the letter is stating that we have a covenant with them to raise our sewer rates in order to fulfill our obligations for when they have lent us money. They have conveyed within their letter how they want us to have the enterprise funds for the sewer and water audited. And I'm already working with the auditor to those ends. So what they want to know is how we're going to raise the rates to be able to pay what we said we can pay for the money that they have lent us in the past. And this is also important for us to fund future projects. So to that end, I have Minnesota Rural Water coming tomorrow. We're doing a rate study, which I will convey to them. We're also being audited, and the auditors will give us a recommendation at that point, so that we're taking actionable steps that we can communicate with PFA on this matter. So right now, I'm not asking you to raise anything. I'm just communicating this to you in public so that you know that I'm taking steps to determine what that rate should be responsibly, so that then you can decide on it in the future in order to meet these requirements.
So in other words, it's just, what, we gotta raise it, but is it good when they come up with that number, it's gotta go to that number to get, there's gonna be a baseline set then, right? It ain't gonna be, you go up 3% now and 2% later, it's gonna be.
I'm sure gonna fight for that, for Appleton, for them not to tell us just one rate and just go there. It's important to us, responsibility to us all as taxpayers, that we don't just get pummeled over the head immediately with this rate. Our new senior loan officer from the PFA, his name is Kathy Barrett, and she's absolutely incredible. She's like a walking calculator with a personality. And so I have to present everything in a process, and I will beg and scream and dance and sing to try to get that rate up incrementally. As you guys have communicated, is your preference as opposed to just raising it.
But in the deal that we run into here now, these rates are gonna set whether we're gonna be qualified for any grants or bonds when we do any of our stuff too, right? If we're not meeting that threshold of where we're supposed to be, then we're not qualified.
That may be the situation.
Well, that's what I read into it.
That may be the
We're not at a
situation.
certain level with our sewer and tax rates. You're not qualified because you're telling me you're not charging enough.
Yep.
That's what I got out of it.
But I will make the case to this individual that the city of Appleton is in a unique situation regarding that. We had now had a rate study done recently. The city has gone through major structural changes, and that they should consider those factors as well. And MediaCom raised their rates, and so I'm just letting everybody know. They raise their rates by generally about $10 across the board, and they let us know, so I'm letting you know. And next, the Department of Army Corps of Engineers, Regional Planning Environment Division North, is having discussions, and this is all online, at Lacaparo Valley for the dam, and throughout the month of January as well, and all of these things are gonna be posted on the website as well. I'm just letting you know about that. And lastly, you have this gambling application for an exempt permit.
All motion to approve without delay the Appleton Sportsman's Club to host a raffle on Thursday, February 20th, 2020 pursuant to the application guidelines of the Minnesota Gambling Control Board as prescribed by Minnesota Statute 349.166.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded for the Sportsman's Club raffle gambling permit. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Okay, so City Council was mentioning earlier today, you were curious about the performance of the 2019 budget. And so I directed staff to give me some information here and a couple of transactional items. As of today, there have been 2 wires in the amount of $733,251 and 50 cents, of which there were 96 disbursement transactions. So those are transactions associated to your 2019 budget, which includes checks, ACHs, and wires since our last meeting, November 20th. Of the disbursement transactions, 104 were invoices paid, of which none were greater than our threshold, $5,000, for a total dollar amount of $839,195.15. Currently, the City of Appleton's unrestricted funds, which are a component of the city's general funds, are housed within money market accounts, $344,306.94, savings accounts, $122,000, $421.31, and a checking account, which is negative $4,000, $541.49, and that's just because we haven't finished all our transfers for the month. And this totals at $462, $186.76 of unrestricted general fund accounts. These accounts are obviously not inclusive of restricted funds, which are a total of $1,855.90 That's a combination of unrestricted and restricted. In terms of the disbursements for the City of Appleton's operation for 2019, you guys establish a limit of $1,943,175. As of today, that budgeted amount has been spent into deficit by $84,000, basically. Without including the cost of my office, the new city administrator, $111,000. The cost of the new position notwithstanding, the deficit spending of the city's budget really does require some analysis. So to assist you, I provided you with a spreadsheet that breaks out each account number and how it relates to the disbursement items that you guys voted for. So basically, the city's budget is made up of 239 line items, of which 90 line items have been spent into deficit. While not all of these deficits present a significant overage, 24 of these deficits do spend 50% beyond what they were budgeted for. In some instances, there are departments which are affected by externalities, the streets and alleys, when there's snow outside and they're heavy. Guys, they're gonna go over for overtime and equipment breakdown. That's to be expected. That said, my overall findings for 2019 budget was that it was underfunded by $456,442. So essentially, the cost of my office and the $84,000 of deficit spending that was due. Not all of this was due to departments that you expect this sort of overage. Some of it was based because certain thresholds for what should be established as a cost were just too low. And that happens when you're not having conversations with department heads for what those should be. Or when you're not looking at how that department has performed years before. So the thresholds were established too low. One of the other things that I found is that there were decisions made as to what budgets should be, a budgeted amount rather, without having intimate knowledge of which accounts compose that line item on your budget. So it's not the same understanding to convey to City Council para contributions are X without knowing that there's 17 accounts that make up para contributions that are more heavily transacted upon at the end of the year than the beginning of the year. And so that causes work in terms of money flow. It causes issues. And then when the accounts are audited, if you don't have that cash flow value accurate, it makes it look like you have less than what you have. So what it all comes down to is that the budgeting has to start the first of the year. You cannot wait until August or September, October to start budgeting. You have to start getting from your department heads what it is that you need so that you can properly fund the city's operation. And that's what I'm going to be doing. So that we don't have the same issue with our tax levy next year. Okay. And the next item of business is the pledge accounts agreements. So we have some of our accounts with Prairie Bank, and they pledge a certain amount. So if they were to go under, they're basically ensuring that we'll get our money back, up to that amount that they have pledged. Next, we're having some transition in our city clerk role, and I'm new here. And so we're asking the city council to change the signatory of the accounts for the new incoming city clerk/treasurer and myself.
Motion to allow for the city administrator and the new city clerk treasurer to serve as signatories for all Appleton City financial banking transactional accounts.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded for the treasurer, or for the clerk treasurer and the administrator for the transactions and accounts. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Longest it's taken you and ever.